YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Skol Gang 365. I'm your host, Darren Ryan, D-Roy. Vikings had one hell of a preseason game. Nick Mullins, I hate to say it, but after watching his performance today, I think he's fucking gone.
Who's that?
Nick Mullins. After that performance today, dude.
Motherfucker should have been gone.
Jaren Hall fucking stepped up.
Yeah, he did. He definitely looked decent. He definitely did. He looked decent in the first game too.
Definitely some room to grow with him.
Yeah, that motherfucking Mullins, bro. His decision making, man. That shit's horrible. Like I said, bro, he make a few nice throws, but what's a few nice throws if that comes with a few fucking picks too? Fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude.
And it's like, dude, it's not like it's, it's not like this is a regular season game and they're fucking asking him to go out there and fucking save the day. This is fucking preseason.
Toss
and
around.
He's fucking struggling, dude.
I'm talking about you tell me first year JJ McCarthy can come in that motherfucker throw for 188 yards. He was out there like he was at fucking Michigan. Like it was nothing, but that's how it's supposed to feel. That's why I said I wish Quezzy, I guess he's not, he still could. He would have treaded the water a little bit now on a more reliable back. I don't know about this Matt Carroll kid, but sounds like another guessing game. Sounds like a motherfucker that he just brought in to compete for a second. He might not even make the roster, I'm not sure. But the good thing about it is, I think Sam Darnold is, even in that first game, he's going to look better. He's going to be way better than motherfuckers think. But the thing about it is, if he gets nicked up, where the fuck are we then? That's our problem.
Right, exactly. So what's your thoughts on Mullins, Colin?
I'm not over the moon about some of the stuff that he did. He can still wing it a long way. He's a third string quarterback to me. But he's got a veteran presence. Remember, these guys aren't playing with Jefferson and Addison and Jones. Like, they're not playing with any of the starters. And this is the first week after losing McCarthy. So it's not going to be, Rome wasn't built in a day on it. I think that he needs to understand that he's a backup. And I think maybe they should have played Darnold the series. That wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. I think at some point you got to play some of these guys just so that they can step in and get some chemistry with Darnold now that they know it's going to be him.
And then that's why the McCarthy getting hurt, banged us. That set us back a little bit, because now they're thinking, we can't risk Darnold now because if he gets banged up in preseason, we they don't even want to take the risk now. And it's the fuck the things like that's a bad position to be in because he's already, like a wild card question mark. Even though we hope he does good, we don't know for sure yet. So that thing is, I don't know. Like I said, I would hate to see us in a situation where we've got to play Mullins no matter what. And like I said, he's not just horribly that bad. He'll do some good shit, man. But at the right opportune time, bro, the mistakes he makes, they're just too costly, bro.
For 400 yards, but you'll have about 8 picks.
Yeah, if you got 400 yards to go with 4 interceptions, bro, you're not. I mean, goddamn, if the other team even scores once or twice off that shit, man, we're in a bad position.
I think part of it too, though, with Mullins is this. I mean, I think it goes to the I don't know what the perceived feeling is about our team in general going to the season when it comes to expectations. I don't think anybody thinks that we're going to win the division that is a fan of any other team. Pretty much all the experts are picking us to finish last in the division now that they think that Caleb Williams, because of his preseason passes, is making himself look like Patrick Mahomes. So I think we got to temper what we want. I think we're a better team than what people are giving us credit for. Again, we haven't been playing Aaron Jones. We haven't played Hawkinson. We haven't, obviously, Hawkinson's still hurt. We still haven't played Jefferson. We still haven't played Addison, really. So let's just wait a little bit. I think the fact that they're winning these games, and as you can tell by my moniker on here, as you can see there with me being Will Reicher's #1 fan, we think we finally have that kicker, and I think we have the coaching staff that's going to stick with the kicker as opposed to cutting them and letting that kicker go to another team and become a multi-time Pro Bowl kicker.
Yeah,
so I think we've got the right people in place when it comes to that. So yeah.
What's your thoughts on Nick Mullins' performance, Sullivan?
Oh man, I got a $200 bet with Joe Thibault.
This is a
pathetic bet, man.
It involves Nick Mullins?
No, it's Vikings. We got a bet.
Oh, okay.
He said the Vikings won't. He said the Vikings won't win 5 games.
You're gonna win that bet.
And this is where I'm at with it, Colin. The way I see it, we got a lot of important contracts out the way, and we cleared off a lot of fucking contract baggage. This is a house money year for us. The way I see it, I see us as 2 wins. If we can even be 2 wins better from last year, and just be above 500, maybe fighting for a wild card spot. That's a likely scenario that we could push for. A lot of folks think that's even asinine for some reason. I don't see it unless they really just think the quarterback situation is going to get that bad, which I guess it could. It did last year, but overall roster, I damn sure I want to take that bet too. I want that bet from Joe.
What's your definition of bad is my question, because I mean we were pretty bad last year. So what's the definition of bad at this point? Darnold is a step up from what we had after Cousins went down last year.
For sure.
I feel like this team reminds me of the team that when Gus Frerotte was the quarterback right before we got Brett Favre. I think we've got pieces in place. We've got money that's going to be opening up next season. And I think, honestly, some of the guys that they were playing in these games, like Steen in particular, I think they may have been showcasing him to trade him to get draft pick capital, too, and just get something out of him.
He raised it a little bit today.
So
he did.
Yeah.
He did. And I look forward to seeing more of him as long as he doesn't get hurt. That's kind of
that's been the biggest question mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the way Steen played today, either somehow he managed to secure a roster spot, or like what Colin just said, they're showcasing him for trade bait.
You know, a lot of people are downplaying it. Oh, preseason, but shit, we went preseason or not, we've been waiting for this kind of performance from him for a long time, man.
I think people are downplaying the fact that they're winning in the preseason too. We've been sucking in the preseason for like 5 years. I think building a winning mentality and culture is a good thing. I don't care who's out on the field.
Hell yeah.
When was the last time we won the preseason? Was it 2020 or
2019?
2019, yeah. And, you know, I mean, given granted, I mean, it's good to look good. I mean, I just hope that this can roll over in the regular season.
Yeah.
I think the most important is to stay healthy. Have your players look good, but stay healthy. And unfortunately, we caught a bed bug with J.J. McCarthy, unfortunately. And it happens.
I'm not as worried about that. I'm really not. I mean, I've been preaching all along that I don't want him to play this season. And what is the difference with him not playing and being injured and not playing and being in practice? Like, what's the difference to me?
Now, see, Kyle, I can see if we were in a situation where we were like with the Bears, where we were drafting him to be the guy right away. Now, if that were the case, we would be a little, feel a little bit worse about it. Only difference is now he probably have to wait about half the season before he gets back to practice.
Did McCarthy get hurt during practice, or did he get hurt during last week's game?
I don't think there's been any clarification on that.
I don't
know.
I mean, Rob might not. Rob, do you have any thoughts on that?
On which thing now? Sorry.
McCarthy, when he got hurt, like the timeline, was it in practice?
Was it practice or during last week's game?
So, like today, they're not, like Paul Allen was saying, well, he heard it during the game. I don't think they know that. I mean, he was complaining of knee soreness, the next day and stuff. But I mean, with the torn meniscus, I mean, it's hard to tell. Now, I tore an ACL, MCL, and meniscus in my own knee before. So, I mean, that's super painful because you've ripped up everything that could possibly go wrong. But I know people that have wrestled an entire season, with a partially torn meniscus and stuff like that. It could have happened. It could have happened toward the end of his Michigan playing days, too. I'll just go with the fact that there's no one clear play from the game, though, that anybody can pinpoint it on.
Right.
They just said sometime in the game he got injured.
Right. Actually, he looked good. It didn't look like he was injured when they took him out of the game. He didn't look hurt at all. Which was kind of surprising to me, but.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yes. Darren, go ahead.
And then like at this point, I'd say Lewis Seen either I'd say showcase him the last preseason game with Philly, and then I'd say throw him out there and get some draft capital.
Only thing is, though, I mean, I guess if he had another monster game like this, it's still gonna be hard to get much for him until he does some shit in live action. I just think it's hard for him to find a spot on the field, bro, just because of what we have already at that position.
Correct. Yeah.
He's special teams to me. I mean, he's a special teams player right now. But he definitely proves that. I think the Vikings are going to err on the side of we drafted this guy in the first round. We got to see. We're just going to milk everything we can out of it. And if, like, let's say during the season, if hypothetically they aren't doing so well, if Seen is on the team, and let's say they were to move Harrison Smith to a team that's in contention, at least you got a guy like that that can maybe step in and provide depth there anyway. So I don't know if they would do that, but just hypothetically, if they weren't doing well, unlike last year with Hunter when they didn't trade him when they could have, I think maybe this year they may. Yeah, I mean, if you knew you weren't going to sign Hunter, you should have moved him at the trade deadline last year. That was frustrating.
We already knew the ballpark range of what he wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, like, with this running back room behind Aaron Jones, I mean, you got Chandler, you got Kenny, Gaskins most likely cut or thrown in as a
practice squad
or
McBride's out.
And then you got Dwayne McBride, who I think is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I honestly think the skill positions are set. I think the wide receivers, Christian Jackson and Naylor, have provided themselves to be the number 4, 3, 4, 5 with Powell. And I think they're set there, barring anything else. I don't think they're going to do anything else with that room. I think that the running back room is set too. I mean, Ham's going to stay. The guy who I really thought played well, and it's not a sexy position, but I thought Walter Rouse, the rookie from Oklahoma, played really well. I saw him going out in a couple of sweeps. He blocked really well. He really impressed me today. He played really well. So that kind of goes along with that offensive line depth that we didn't have last season. I feel like with Rouse, I think like Reisner might be out. So I think Walter Rouse, is going to be the guy that steps in and is that swing tackle.
Well, I agree on running backs. I think you're going to put Gaskin on practice squad, probably get rid of McBride. You're going to have Jones. You're going to have Chandler and Nwangwu with CJ Ham at fullback. By running one less running back, then you keep all those other 3 wide receivers, just Christian Jackson, Brandon Powell, and
Naylor.
Especially Jalen Naylor, has really made a case to earn a roster spot.
Yeah.
I disagree on Reisner. I don't think they're going to cut any linemen just because they're so gun shy of all the injuries we have. We were talking about that earlier today too. As long as an offensive lineman isn't an absolute detriment to this team and just doesn't suck, I'll about guarantee you that they'll keep them on the roster's depth, and they'll move around and they'll run light on some defensive positions just to be able to do that.
I can see that, Rob.
I could see it, but I think with Seen and McLaughlin, I mean, to me, Dwight McLaughlin is one made the team. I don't know. That guy could be a starter the way he's played. I think they once again have come up with another UDFA. Yeah. And I don't know was Gabe Murphy. Is Gabe Murphy hurt right now? Because I feel like that could be a guy, unfortunately, that might not be in the mix right now.
I don't know if he's hurt per se, but he is not getting as much playing time as what I was hoping for.
Yeah. Same.
They think that guy. The guy who had another sack today. What's his name? The white guy. What's his name?
Bo Richter.
Richter. That guy got another sack. Like, how can you? I mean, how can you not have that guy signed? Like I
want them to sign him. He's a big motherfucker.
I was also thinking about Levi Drake Rodriguez and everything. Had a good first game and really didn't do much of this game. It's Bo Richter's the one that keeps showing up all the time. Again, McLaughlin showed up. Again, Tristan Jackson showed up. Again, Jalen Naylor showed up. There's some pretty clear-cut guys that are really doing a good job of earning a roster spot on this team. And then there's some guys that aren't doing anything. I think with Seen, you have to take into context, he played the whole freaking game at Harrison Smith's position, right? But he still didn't go against any real number ones. I mean, you gotta put that into context. Did the guy have his best the best game that we've ever seen out of him on tape? Yeah, but it's preseason. That's a problem. So I think Seen is probably practice squad because I think we're good at safety. I mean, look at what we've got between Cameron Bynum, Josh Metellus, Harrison Smith, and whoever the hell else that B-Flow decides to rotate around, do this, do that.
Right.
You've got Ward floating around.
The other Jackson, I think.
Lucky? Or Theo?
No. The Theo. Safety.
Oh,
Theo Jackson.
Yeah.
Because his value on special teams is so huge. And I think the fact that he embraced that, I think he's kind of going the Metellus route of he embraced being a guy who wasn't necessarily picked up. And I feel like I think he has found a spot too. I also think Michael Juergens is going to make this team as well. Other than one play getting blown up by that Hall guy, Juergens, I think, is the backup center now. That's not even, I don't even think it's up for debate. He's on the team.
Yep, and I think he could very much well take
Sully, you're muted. Sorry, Sully, you're muted.
I'm sorry, do you guys think that Bobby McCain will be cut then?
Hell, yeah, he was out there getting torched.
That bad penalty by McCain. I mean, I think this is all setting up for Stephon Gilmore becoming a Viking come the regular season start.
Because McCain played with Brian Flores in Miami, so.
And it's good you say that though, Colin. It's been a while, bro, since we had offensive line depth. We've been in the boat where if one guy goes down, we're fucked. Or even if one weak link, we got good tackles, and we always missing something. That interior or the center or Bradbury's getting blown up by a nice defensive tackle. There's always one issue. We need a nice solid look like the Lions line, for example. All those
they drafted high. I mean, that's what the Vikings didn't really done. Other than Darisaw, they haven't really drafted high on the old line. Yeah. Right. I mean, Bradbury was a big pick too, but like O'Neal was a second rounder. Brando was a rookie free agent. Ed Ingram, like I still don't trust him. I don't know why I don't trust Ingram. I just don't trust him yet.
Do you notice how he played most of the game, if not all of it?
Juergens, yeah, I noticed.
No,
I mean he was. Oh, Ingram did. Ooh.
Ingram was in there most of the time.
He makes me nervous, but
that's why I honestly think that they're looking at.
If Risner could pick up where he left off at,
moving to like a left guard and Reisner over there instead of Ingram.
Well, I think Brandl's the left guard. I don't think that's up for debate. But I think maybe Rouse competing with Ingram for right guard. I think could definitely be a scenario.
Yeah.
Rouse looks good. Rouse looks really good. He jumped off the page to me, but
yeah, that's a big
he's got
move.
size
That's
too.
big, bro. Because we already know O'Neal and Darisaw are gonna hold their shit down. We can get Darnold. We can get Darnold that interior up, time to get that ball out or swing it to Jones or whatever the hell the play might be, bro. That shit'll be huge, man. We haven't had that in a minute. And like you said, Colin, he's not duck feet like our last guy, Kirk Cousins, and that's my guy. But we know his feet. They're not shit the right hold up.
Darnold can move.
He can move a little bit.
People
Man.
forget about Darnold with Carolina. I mean, there was one game I want to say with Carolina, he had 3 rushing touchdowns, and it wasn't from like quarterback sneaks. It was designed plays that got him up. So I'm a Darnold, as Mackey would say on Score North. I'm a Darnold defender.
That should
But
allow.
I'm still Will Reichard's #1 fan though.
Well, and the thing is, Colin, we know that he doesn't have like the arm of Cousins, but with that mobility, shouldn't that be able to open it up for Kevin O'Connell a little bit as far as like maybe adding in like some RPOs and different shit to the offense?
Well, I mean, they're not showing anything during the preseason, I mean, they're running vanilla. But at some point, you got to start running a few plays that you might run on a regular basis. So I saw a few little wrinkles there. I think that jet sweep to Tristan Jackson. I think that's something that they're going to use during the season a little bit. I think once Hawkinson comes back and Oliver, I think they're going to start using more and more people.
Oh,
Whoa, here we go. That's somebody from Mexico. There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's what's up, bro.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
did anybody hear what Jefferson had to say about Sam Darnold? How he liked his deep bombs.
Darnold's got a cannon. It's not surprising.
He said he could fit it right there, like right in the gloves, right in the breadbasket.
I think you're going to see a lot of with Darnold being more mobile than Cousins and having equal arm strength. You'll still see a lot of the long bombs that we're used to, especially if Addison and Jefferson get open. The biggest thing for Darnold is he's going to have to understand that even when Jefferson and Addison look like they're covered, if the shot's there, fucking take it because they'll go get it. I also think you're starting to see, even in preseason being vanilla, like Colin said, you saw a lot more bootlegs and a lot more, option plays, RPOs, that kind of stuff. And I think that's actually going to be what the plan is with Darnold in the regular season too.
That'd be nice, man.
It makes sense to do it that way, especially with the speed that you have in the wide receiving core.
He literally has everything he needs as far as weaponry to get that shit done.
How do you guys feel about?
He has all the weapons in the world. He just needs that interior protection, and I think that's the one thing that's going to help him.
How do you guys feel about Mullins and Hall? Their play today, since these guys are going to be the backup.
I actually liked a couple of Hall's throws. There was one play on the sideline. I want to say he hit Tristan Jackson. It was a nice teardrop throw, and he seems a lot more confident. Like, I think, and his mobility is better than Mullins. So I feel like this might be Mullins' last year as the backup. I think Hall is embracing, with McCarthy going down. I think Hall's embracing the fact that he's got a legitimate shot at being a backup and being a capable backup. The thing that I really have liked a lot, and I think this is why Jalen Naylor, I thought this was going to be him last year, but it's become him this year. I think he's figuring out his role as being like a spacing guy, like finding spaces. He's not necessarily got speed, but he's got good hands, and he has a way of getting in good position to make shorter, intermediate catches. That's what Darnold's gonna need. Like, obviously you got the bullets in Jefferson and Addison, but having a guy who can be that spacing guy and that third down guy that can get himself in position to get first downs and can make catches when the other guys are being double covered. I think that's the biggest thing I see with Naylor, and he's definitely been the best player in the preseason so far.
Nice.
Well, it's funny because at noon we were all sitting here saying how bad Hall looked last week. And it's like, come on, man. You had an entire freaking year and everything to not look like ass. And I mean, he did. He looked like ass last week in that preseason game. Completely redeemed himself this time. Actually looked like he belonged wearing that uniform. Mullins, I'll say the same thing about Mullins now as I've always said about Mullins. If he doesn't turn the ball over, he looks like he could be a starter in this league. But when he does turn the ball over, he's clearly a backup. And that's why
I think Hall I think with McCarthy going down though, I think Hall almost got a regenerative gene in him because I think he knew the writing was on the wall that if McCarthy was healthy, he was probably practice squad or cut. And I think now with McCarthy being gone, I think Hall sees a second chance and a second opportunity, and I think he's trying to take a run at it.
Well, remember, Hall only played like a quarter and a half last week.
Yeah, he got concussion like right at the in the first drive against the Falcons. So
yeah,
but I think the spectra, the lore of not having McCarthy there, it opened up the possibilities for Hall to have a more legitimate shot at being a realistic shot at being on the team. And I think he's made the team as the third quarterback right now. Corral, I think, is just a guy they brought in just in case somebody went down in the game.
Right. And he clearly showed that has been on the team for 48 hours because he didn't have a clue out there either. You know,
he looked tiny. He looked like me. He looked like me going out there at quarterback. He looked like he was 150 pounds out there.
Hey, one thing
I wish I was 150 pounds.
One thing I really hope Kevin O'Connell can get with, man, and he's got to have this mindset. I know the injury bug is fucking with us early and it's starting to look like they might fuck with us like last year, but he can't let that make him, not play people and get, weary of shit. I want to see Darnold play in this last game against Philly, this last preseason game, at least like a damn near a half of it, at least.
Yeah, I want to see Jefferson out there too.
He still got to get the reps.
I want to see Jones. I want to see Jefferson. I want to see everybody out there at least for a quarter. I mean, you got to play at least a quarter.
I'm talking about, man, Patrick Mahomes and them boys just won the Super Bowl. You saw his ass out there.
Two offensive series or something, yeah.
Yeah. You got to get some chemistry.
If this is going to be the dress rehearsal, I will agree on Darnold because I just think Darnold needs the reps. I'm worried with Aaron Jones's age and then with Justin Jefferson being the creme de la creme, the superstar of people trying to cheap shot him in the preseason and hurt him. I'll just say it. I mean, that is the last thing I want to see is Addison or Jefferson get hurt in a preseason game. And I think Aaron Jones, you want to save for week one and don't let the Giants know how we're going to deploy him,
Well, Addison's not playing next week. Was it an ankle injury he had? So
it's not a serious one though.
Right.
I bet you he's there by week one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're not putting him on IR or nothing like that.
Right.
On the same token, you want to see a guy like Naylor get hurt though too. You don't want to overwork him, because he has proven to be the number 3 receiver. I mean, I don't want to see him get hurt either. Because now you're back to square one again with is Brandon Powell going to be that guy? We're going to have to bring somebody in. Like, I don't want too many people getting overworked too. So
right.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me with like what touching on what Rob said is Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. Those are the last 2 guys I want to see get hurt, especially with Jones's injury history. I don't want to see him get injured in preseason because that's the guy that we're really going to need this year.
And Rob and Colin, y'all been telling us about this dude Naylor for a minute. I'm just like, man, when am I going to finally see this shit? And I see it now. But Addison either getting suspended or hurt, whichever comes first. It's opening the door for him, man. It is opening the door for his ass.
But there's a
I forgot about Brandon Powell. That motherfucker might be gone.
I don't think. Brandon Powell is kind of Kevin O'Connell's little pet project. I think he'll keep him. But I also don't. If Addison gets suspended, I think it will be a next year thing. I don't even think it'll be this year.
yeah.
And like we were talking,
because they didn't suspend Rasheed Rice, so I think that'll be a very similar thing to that.
Yeah, and James, we were talking last week. He blew a .08, which is right at the legal limit. Most cops won't even write a ticket for that. You know, they'll make you sit there for half an hour, let you get under the limit, and send you on your way. A good lawyer gets that thing fucking thrown out, man.
Rob, the reason why they got his dumb ass because he was sitting in a fucking $250,000 car. It's looking stupid as fuck. Like, bro, if you're going to be doing shit that you know you're not supposed to be doing, like, get in a fucking little Honda or something, man. What the fuck is wrong?
Right.
But that's where
I'm going to present something. I'm going to present something to you guys and see what you guys think about this because of the way that Naylor has played. And this is just totally out of left field. And if Addison doesn't seem like he's getting somewhere, how would any of you feel about this? We've got all that salary cap room coming up, and there's a couple of guys that are on another team that I feel like our defensive tackle spot still needs a guy.
Yes.
How would you guys feel about trading Jordan Addison to the Washington football team for either Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen?
Hey, a couple weeks ago, I probably would have said you were crazy to say that. I feel comfortable now. Like right now, I was worried about if Addison got hurt or suspended or whatever.
Hey, can you guys hear?
Can he?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think he's frozen up.
Oh.
Rob, what do you think about something like that? Because I think Allen and Deron Payne are both not too old, but they've got a lot of tread on the tires, and they really are good interior defensive tackles. What do you think?
Right. So there's one of two ways. I think with all that money coming up next year, we do try to buy the best available free agent one. And if there isn't, that's when you make the trade, and that's when you would consider something like that. I also think wherever we pick, and if we're not being a bunch of fucking homers, we're probably going to pick, pretty close to the top 10 in the first round. Yeah. I think we try to we draft the best defensive tackle, on the books when it's our turn to make a pick next year. I do think we try to buy one and we try to draft one, but if we have to trade for one, I think we got how often do teams, and we talk about this with quarterbacks, but we don't talk about it with wide receivers. You talk about how lucky the Green Bay Packers were to go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm still not sold on Jordan Love, but if he ends up being anything good, I mean, anything above serviceable, that's just amazing. How often can you go from a team that had went to the NFC Championship game with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, turn around a short while later, and you've replaced them apparently seamlessly with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? That shit just doesn't happen.
Well, it goes back even further than that. I mean, you can go back to like Nate Burleson, Randy Moss, Moss Carter, Anthony Carter, Hassan Jones. I mean, our team in general, they have the same track record with wide receivers as like the Packers do with quarterbacks. We've just finally wisened up and been like, we need to get a quarterback. But I mean, Tristan Jackson has looked impressive. Naylor has looked impressive.
Yes.
If Addison becomes a headache, think about it to Washington, because now if you add Addison to Washington, now you got Jaden Daniels with another proven wide receiver that's young to go with Terry McLaurin. Yeah. And the Vikings are getting a guy like Jonathan Allen, who is a monster interior veteran guy who could maybe, if you put him with Levi or you put him with another young kid, you've got a really fortified interior front. I think the guy they need to draft is Hunter, the corner from Colorado. I think they need to go corner.
I agree with you. And the thing about those players, and not just the fact that we was able to come up on them, Rob. We got these guys locked in for a while. They're not going anywhere. Yeah, so the fact that JJ McCarthy is going to literally get to grow with these guys and add on, I'm telling you, I want us to go for it next year. $159 million in cap space, growing players. JJ McCarthy should be ready. I think we need to try to pull an LA Rams next year. I think we should go. That's why I said this is a house money year. Stay healthy, try to go to the playoffs, maybe 9-8 type of deals. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't expect much. I would try to go for it next year, man.
Well, and the only reason why guys like Jalen Naylor and Tristan Jack is just staying, especially Naylor, specifically staying healthy. And it looks like this year might be the year for him. If he can stay healthy and be available, I mean, the kid can do great things. And
he reminded me of Stephon Diggs. That's who he reminded me of. It's like almost a carbon copy of Diggs to me.
Pretty much, yeah. And we have not we've hit and miss, and I'm telling you, Jerry Tillery is not the answer. Levi Drake Rodriguez could be a feel good story. He's just not big enough. We have not had a real defensive tackle since Linval Joseph, and then we had a gap in between when we had Kevin and Pat Williams.
That's what we need, a Pat Williams
in the middle. We need to have another version of the Williams wall somehow. And I still am not a fan of our base 3-4 defense. I don't like it, but we're not in it very often, and we always Flores is doing exotic shit all the time. I'd like to see a big fucking tandem up there to stop the run.
Yeah,
my biggest worry is this year teams will still run the ball up the gut on us.
Because Rob, because they already know the secondary is going to be risky to track. They already know that's going to be tough to go at. And the thing about it is, we need a motherfucker. Even like that guy, I'll give you I'll give you an example. That motherfucker Vita Vey from I think he used to play in Tampa. I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to get his hands on motherfuckers half the time. He just has to be involved in the play. He can lay down sometimes, but just lay flat, and he's getting motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying. We need a guy like that, man.
Yeah,
Pat Williams, yeah.
I thought we had it with the one guy we got from New York that we let go now.
Joseph.
No, not Joseph.
Oh, Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson. Okay, yeah.
No, he ended his career.
I thought because he started off trying. He's a
or
big
Thomas. You mean Tomlinson? You mean Dalvin Tomlinson?
Dalvin Tomlinson.
He's
a big, mean looking motherfucker, and he looked like kind of strong cock diesel, but the other guy we got from Buffalo is doing better than him, man. He's doing a lot of dirty work for us, and I got trust in him. But it's that other side, man. Is that they continue to abuse us. If you look at the Philly game last year, we were making Jalen Hurts look horrible, picking them off. They couldn't throw the ball for shit. As soon as they started pounding it with Swift, we couldn't stop it at all.
I want to, with the money we got right now, I want to see us bring in Tart. Tart.
Guy from Miami.
He might be the best. That's what I'm saying. It ain't that many available, man, as far as a game changer, man.
Pair him up with Harrison Phillips, and I think you secure a wall on that interior D line. The only thing that worries me outside that interior D line is the defensive end spots.
You know where I think we kind of fucked up, though? If it was known that Montez Sweat was actually going to be available to fucking be traded, we damn sure should have tried to get him last year instead of the fucking Bears.
Well, we thought we were ahead. I mean, we could have moved Hunter, too.
Yeah, we could have moved Hunter.
They gave him
We got nothing for Hunter. We got nothing for Hunter. I mean, Redskins or Washington got picked for Sweat, and they got to draft. I mean, we could have gotten a first. I mean, for Hunter, I think San Francisco would have traded us a first for Hunter.
Man,
that's what they needed to win that game.
Even if we only get a second or third out of it, Colin, the thing about it is Quezzy couldn't have been so shallow-minded to think that, I've got to keep Hunter because we still have a chance at this season. And he had to have known, it doesn't make sense to me, really.
I don't think it had to do so much with Quezzy as a deal with the ownership. I think the ownership said, we've got a shot at this. We're going to keep going. Don't move Danielle Hunter. Let's just keep going this year. I don't necessarily think that was Quezzy. I think that had more to do with the ownership than anybody else.
Or could it possibly be?
And I think.
My bad. Keep going. I was just saying,
I said they've meddled a few. They've meddled a few times. So.
Well, here's the deal. Low ball, maybe teams knew we had to move them, and they were trying to offer us 6th-round picks or some shit.
Yeah, I don't think that was the case. I think I think somebody would have given us a high pick.
I'll say
49ers for sure.
After we beat the 49ers, and then we went to Green Bay and beat them, and at one point in time it was like a 20-point lead. Despite the fact that Jefferson had already had a hamstring, we knew we'd get him back at some point in time. At that point in time, right up until Kirk Cousins went down, Kirk
got hurt in that game. Yeah,
you all know we were thinking, okay, we're on our run. We're fucking going. Watch out. Detroit. Watch out, everybody.
Yeah, we won both of those games without Jefferson.
Clicking on every fucking cylinder. Defense looking awesome. Finally, the turnovers were starting to slow down enough as to where it wasn't costing us games. We're starting to win. Cousins goes down.
The minute Cousins went down, we should have traded him.
The minute Cousins went down, we all kind of knew it was over, but we had a little false hope with a quarterback carousel. And then about the time Hawkinson went down, it was just impossible at that point in time. We should have been making some moves as soon as the season was over, and you knew that you weren't going to have enough money to, Cousins was never going to be anything more than a 1 year to 2 year max, for a quarterback offer. They should have had the presence of mind to see if, and I think he kind of did the team dirty a little bit anyways, always going for the money. But then again, that's what you do.
And the thing, Rob, I agree with that, Rob. And the thing with the Vikings, bro, they no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how good it could do for us, they refuse to give up on the season, bro. No matter what, we could be 5 games out of any kind of playoff picture, bro. If we still got to stack a decent roster and there's expectations, they will not give up on. They will not tank. They refuse to do it, bro. And I get it. I don't like to see the team lose either. But sometimes when you know that there's nothing happening, like I wish we would have lost that Raiders game. I'm glad we got JJ McCarthy, but who knows what kind of moves we can make if you're 2 or 3, 4 spots down more in the draft. It's just all kind of shit you got to think about, man. Yeah. And shit, you got to think about the betterment of the team, man. If you know we're getting this money, we're signing these long-term contracts, man, fuck that. Even if we got to let Danielle Hunter go for a 4th rounder, man, you can find some good talent in the 4th round, man.
Well, they would have got a 2nd round pick at minimum.
At least, huh?
We have a couple compensatory picks next year. Plus, if we do end up picking high and we trade, like let's say we're at number 8 or 9 and we trade to 13, you can still get a hell of a defensive tackle. Or if they end up going your route that you say, Colin, and we try to get the best corner might be somebody that's rated at number 20, though. So see,
there's 3 corners that are projected to go in the top 10. There's Will, there's a kid from Michigan, there's a kid from Notre Dame, and there's Hunter, the kid from Colorado. All 3 of those guys are going in the top 10.
We covered 2 positions at one time with Hunter.
They have other opportunities and everything to do some maneuvering around throughout the rounds to fill things out. I also think they made their moves and expended some of the picks and has had this year's draft plus what we're going to be doing next year set up in mind that they're going to have more money than God and they can buy whoever they want.
No, we're not.
No, we're not talking about the Lioness right now.
We're not. No. We're not talking about the Motown.
Hey, Colin, I want to ask you this, bro.
Yeah.
I'll do what I want to ask all you guys this actually. With the way it's set up and with the defensive approach, obviously Flores isn't showing much. Do you expect the blitz rate and the pressure to be dialed up the same, man? Because with the signings, with Van Geeko and all those guys, the guys he used to work for, it seems like he's about to stay on pace with that. But when the pass rush wasn't getting there, man, you seen that shit was leaving us gas sometimes. I wonder what his approach is going to be with that. I want him to at least keep it at 50%.
I think he's going to do it more.
I was just going to say, I think the motherfucker's going to pour it on more because the only reason why the pass rush didn't get there is because of the slew of injury. Right. Davenport was a giant turd, and then DJ Wanham goes down, at like week 10 or
nothing on the other side.
Danielle Hunter cannot be. I think you brought in Jonathan Grenard, you drafted Dallas Turner, and you got Andrew Van Ginkel to make sure you have the solid pass rush without the blitz anyways. Then that motherfucker's still going to bring the blitz. And he's going to because that fucker it's going to get home. The difference between last year and this year, that sumbitch is going to get home all year long when he sends that blitz.
He said, Rob, now we got the heat coming from both sides, not just one. Not just one.
Well, you saw Steen make that. You saw Steen make that sack in the game. You saw Steen make that sack in the game. You mean to tell me that they're not going to have Metellus doing that? You think Metellus isn't going to be wandering around?
Yeah,
with all those guys running.
I can't wait to see Cam Bynum put the hit stick on a motherfucker.
Metellus had the highest pressure rate of any backfield player, any secondary player at corner or safety last year by
the NFL.
Pressures. He was higher than any safety or corner in the league by 13 pressures. Now think of what happens when he actually has a solid D line and linebacking core, also bringing the heat in front of him.
That's what I said.
I think them taking a no-name style. I think by going with Van Ginkel, people are forgetting about Blake Cashman too. Like they've got a bunch of like good players, maybe not top end, but you got a bunch of guys that like that element of mystery and seeing where these guys are coming from. That's where they're going to be surprising.
Colin, when you add it all together. They said Blake Cashman, they said he done run the damn, he's calling the defense already. A lot of motherfuckers don't understand, man. When Brian Flores, like Cam Bynum, the year before, bro, we were thinking about maybe trying to trade that motherfucker. We were thinking about maybe kicking him off the team the year before, man. We weren't talking about Cam Bynum. Like, we knew he was decent. He made a couple plays, but he wasn't playing like this, bro.
That's down the shell. That's down the shell.
Oh yeah, down the shell. I'll never forget that. That was the worst experience. Watching that shit every week, and then me and Rob going to game. Me and Rob was going to the games. Like, man, we just praying he's
every week. We've had every week.
Know he's got to just say fuck it this week and try something different. That motherfucker never did.
Nope. Every single week, me and James is on here like that. Fucking Donatel just. He just gave up 35 points. You know what's going to happen in the playoffs? This motherfucker's going to cost us. Sure enough, first round exit.
That shit called right up to us.
Hey, Daniel Jones made a lot of money off of Ed Donatel. He made a lot of money off Ed Donatel.
Boy, he sure looked like shit today too. I tell you, like,
they say he's been looking like
my
shit.
Goodness, he was bad.
They say he's been looking like shit since the start of camp. They say he's been looking like dog shit. That's why I said, hey, even though their defense is, somewhat, their defense is formidable. With the way that offense is stripped down, we better win that fucking game. We better win that opening week. I know we're on the road. I know we got a lot of new shit going. I'm not saying we better win in a good fashion. Riker better at least be walking us off. God damn it.
I think that's the reason why I think they need to play the starters a little bit in this next game. I don't want the starters playing together just once. They're not even just once, but like not at all. I think they need to play the starters at least a little bit before that first game. Because I think there needs to be some kind of chemistry there so that they're not just walking, they're a little rusty the first 2-3 drives. Like, no, they need to get out there and play together for a little bit. I mean, they're not made of plastic. They're not made of glass. Like, get them out there.
And like, Con, do people think that Andy Reid just doesn't care about his players? Like, he doesn't know the risk involved when he puts his starters out there, even though they just won the Super Bowl. He has no reason out of anybody to be doing it, but they're out there, bro, because he understands that they need that shit. He's got a lot of new players out there you got to get in season form, man. You got to.
You know what's crazy about that game? Starting the game was a rookie left tackle named Kingsley Sayamadu from BYU. And he's going to be the starting left tackle for the Chiefs this year because they couldn't go with Donovan Smith and whoever else that was very questionable. They're like the most penalized tackles in the NFL last year. So Reid is putting his rookie left tackle that was his high pick out there in the preseason with Mahomes, with Kelsey, those behind the back passes. Like they're putting him out there. They need to give him time.
Your argument to play the starters is as simple as this. Last year and the year before, the Vikings played no starters in preseason. Now, I'm not going to say it causes this long of a hangover. The only reason why the Minnesota Vikings didn't start out 6-0 or 7-0 is because of turnovers. And it looked lazy. It looked like they were just, lack of communication. There was just some things that were just dumb.
Turnovers and drop passes.
It's like with Justin Jefferson fumbling out the back of the end zone and everything. It's like, okay, this is just bad luck. But for the most part, just attention to detail, that kind of stuff. Now, that's with a quarterback and a wide receiving core that played together for a couple of years, except Addison obviously was a rookie. And Josh Oliver was good. But now look at the communication aspect of stuff when you've got a new quarterback and everything, but then you've got your guys back together. It's pretty critical. This team can win some games with Darnold. We can win games. We have got to do better at the turnovers this year, or we're going to be really, really fucked.
How about the blind loving loyalty to Alexander Madison at the beginning of the year? He had a fumble every game the first 6 games.
Right.
He was the starter, and that's what was driving me nuts. Why they weren't playing Chandler. I'm like, I don't care if Ty Chandler has a hard time picking up the blitz. He's not fumbling the ball, and he can run the ball. Put Chandler in there. I said it all last season. But Madison was a problem.
I feel like we should have dumped off Madison sooner than what we did.
Not even just dumped him off, so they should at least said, "Hey man, when we get this guy Chandler the ball, he's at least getting us 3-4 fucking yards. He's at least getting
2 years. 2 years in the preseason, he was averaging like 8-9 yards a carry. I mean, I don't care if you're playing against second or third teamers. You're averaging 7, 8, 9, 10 yards a carry.
That's like yes, I said.
That's money to me. But
if Cam Akers had been able to last longer than a game and a half, that would have actually been a nice punch as you run Cam Akers on first and second down. Madison's a third down back for short yardage.
Or Chandler, too. You put all three of them.
And that would have worked. What I am glad to see is them giving Kene Longrue, with his speed and explosiveness and his second year, I'm glad to see him getting opportunities because, to be perfectly honest, he's more of an Aaron Jones speed and run to the sides, run to the outsides type of a back and stuff like that. We need to, we get killed by speed all the time ourselves. We need to be killing people with speed. And the
Longrue reminds me of Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey,
Longrue reminds me of Jerick McKinnon a lot.
And now that Aaron Jones, obviously, he's a little older and got the miles on him, I'm hoping and I'm thinking Kevin O'Connell, you let Ty Chandler and those other guys do the dirty work. Have Jones as the more finesse player, the decoy. I want him out the backfield. When Sam Darnold gets in trouble, or if the line's not performing how we wanted to, we need to be able to have that 5 yard up, like the same way Dak Prescott and Zeke used to do it, man. He needs to be able to have
Aaron Jones has always been one of the best. Aaron Jones has also been one of the best blitz pickup running backs in the NFL. He's been that for a long time. So I feel like that's going to help us out a lot too.
Probably.
And we're not going to be as predictable because honestly, last year when it was a passing down and you saw C.J. Ham out there, even I could have been the defensive coordinator of the team and know, they ain't running the ball. Yeah. If you put Aaron Jones out there, he can run it and he can block. I think that's a key element that I think was missing last season.
Yeah, and then they knew that they didn't have to respect Madison. They like, oh man, we just put we don't need just a 4-guy front, no blitz, nothing. That motherfucker's not getting more than 2-3 yards. We're good. Stack this secondary up. Double Jefferson.
By the way, how happy are we right now that we have a kicker? I'm just putting it out there. I can't accentuate that enough.
I am.
So
he looks like Brian Longwell out there. He's just like, yep, I'm just going to kick it through. There we go. Got it.
I'm just so thrilled at the way that this has been going so far. I don't want to jinx it by even saying anything. I just want to be quiet and watch and hope it continues.
I don't care. If we're not supposed to be any good anyways, even if Reichard misses kicks, I know they're going to stick with him because they already went down that road with Dan Carlson the first time, and we saw how that ended up. So I think they have a much more positive coaching staff that's going to let him kick out whatever it is. And he just trots out. He reminds me of Gary Anderson. He just kind of trots out there and kicks it through.
Hell yeah.
What's up, Charles? And Colin, I love it too. And just like you said, they done gave us the perfect out this year. You've already told me that we were finishing in the basement for sure, and that this is we're out of there. So guess what? When it happens, you don't get to fuck with me. But guess what? I get to do if you're wrong. If we even go even a little bit further past expectations. It's like the way Sam Darnold gets talked about in this group. I swear, not no team that we place in this Lions, Bears, or Packers. They better not let us even split with them, or they're gonna hear from me.
Here's Bill.
We're beating Packers fast.
Right on the dot.
Right on time. Yep. Here he goes. Here he goes again. Maybe 5 wins. See, and that's what I love.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Screenshot that everybody.
Exactly what I love.
There.
Because the Vikings have the chance to do the funniest shit ever. And it's not just the people on the Huddle Sports Network. It's all the sports writers. It's the disrespect in the player rankings. It's everybody who is some kind of a football guy or gal somewhere just thinks the Vikings are going to fucking suck this year. Well, you know what?
Can I do my best Bill impersonation right now?
Here we go.
Can I do my Bill impersonation?
Here we go, Colin.
And Rob,
okay. Go back to bed, buddy. Your season is done. Whose season's done?
Rob,
the Vikings have the chance to do the funniest shit ever.
Oh, your team sucks. Oh, sorry, Bill. Oh, Bill.
For real. I can see if they say, "Oh yeah, the Vikings, you guys ain't gonna do much this year," but to act like we're gonna just be
Oh,
getting our
there's
ass
Bill.
the way these
Wow.
motherfuckers talking, we're
Hello.
gonna be getting our ass.
No, that's Greg.
No,
Oh, it's
The
great.
way they talking
Okay.
around here, they make it seem like the Vikings is about to get their ass whooped every weekend. Like, damn, you guys know some shit I don't know?
Well, like I said, the Vikings have the chance to do some of the funniest shit ever if they win more games than what they're supposed to, because there's going to be a lot of people.
See, there it goes.
Hey, Bill, don't you guys have Greg Joseph, though?
There it goes.
Don't you have Greg Joseph,
Sam
though?
Darnold, bro.
Yeah, don't you have Greg Joseph?
He said you have
Yeah,
Sam Darnold, bro.
Greg Joseph, right? Hey, you got Josh Jacobs, too, right? Don't you, Bill? Yeah, I remember that half of the season I remember that half of the season that Josh Jacobs had with the Raiders. Man, you really didn't need Aaron Jones, who had 4 touchdowns in the playoffs. You really didn't need him. You're right. Bravo. Hey, by the way, when's Rashawn Gary ever gonna get more than 5 sacks in the season?
He's
When's
a
it gonna
slow
happen?
starter.
All I
When
want
he
Bill to
hits year
admit,
7, he's going to be a stud.
you go write it down, take a picture. We don't give a damn. All you need to
Get your
remember, Bill,
AOL, get your
Bill,
AOL CD
we
out and go
taught
ahead and
Jordan Love
save it,
how to
Will.
win. We beat Jordan Love's ass so bad he started playing good to the mother. He was like a trash can until we did that assault on him at Lambeau Bill. Did you forget about that? That defense is gonna be even better. We got 2 motherfuckers coming for him. Motherfucker Jordan Love, you better hope he don't have a sophomore slump.
Hey, Bill, which week are you going to re-sign Mason Crosby for the 15th time? Which week is that going to be?
He said Jim has to be crying.
I'll be a ghost? No.
Hey,
Greg,
Greg, you're muted. You got on mute.
Yeah, I'm just hearing all this go down, just absorbing it a little bit.
Okay. Oh, so you're just digesting the bullshit from Bill.
So Greg,
Okay.
Pretty much.
Do you think
What's
we're
up, Jeremy B?
do you think we're being walking balls of optimism here, or what? Just tell us the truth.
I mean, look, you guys, this last 6-7 weeks for the Vikings has been really rough.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys had a promising game from, JJ McCarthy, who I wasn't very high on. I'll be honest with you. I think he kind of benefited off a strong Michigan roster, but he had a great showing other than that first series, where he obviously threw the interception.
Yeah.
For him to go down, look, I just want to sneak this in there. I think with most Vikings fans, the object was, we wanted McCarthy to sit a year, learn behind Darnold, what have you. But I think if he played well enough and Darnold was struggling, that there was a possibility McCarthy might have came in midseason. Look, I like your guys' roster overall. Not a fan of your CB room. Just to be honest with you guys, I think this is a bad division to not maybe have suspect CB play. And I know it's partially due to, a death and some injuries and stuff. But I don't think the Vikings have a bad roster. I look at the NFC North as a really, really strong division this year. Probably the strongest I've seen it in years, in my opinion, at least.
I agree with that.
Greg, how do you feel about the Bears with Caleb Williams?
I'm going to put it to you like this. So I'm a Bruins fan, so I hate the Trojans. Division rival with the Bears. I hate the Bears. If I put all that aside, man, the kid, I get a lot of flack for this because, I absolutely hate the Trojans, cheating-ass program. But that kid was doing stuff with the football that I really haven't seen since, like, Andrew Luck. And I know I'll catch flack for that. I think the kid has all the talent in the world. It's just about Chicago's ability to develop him.
How about protect him? Are you sold on their offensive line?
I've spoken to Bears fans about this. Darnell Wright looks like he's in a regression. He had a pretty strong rookie campaign. We'll see if he can bounce back. Nate Davis, signed to be a starting guard for the Bears. Looks like an absolute shit show. Sam Darnold. Well, I'll speak on Sam Darnold real quick. Sam Darnold in his career, to be honest with you, from what I've observed from being a Jet to being a Panther, he was a backup with the Niners last year. He always starts strong, man. He'll give you 3 or 4 games, and then by about midway through the season, you're going to want to see someone else. So we'll see if he can break that, man. This is arguably the strongest supporting cast he's ever had. I mean, you guys got 2 bookends and Darisaw and O'Neal, so I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
He's laughing at you, Bill, so it's okay.
You know who else is going to be laughing, Bill? We're going to be all laughing when your third and fourth stringers that you got at starter right now in wide receiver room don't show up.
Hey, I really love the video of A.J. Dillon attacking the tackling sled a couple of years ago, and you saying he was going to be the next Adrian Peterson, or maybe Lucas Van Ness, who wasn't even a starter at Iowa. Great first-round pick. Boy, what did he have, 2 tackles the whole season?
Hey, Bill, I heard they were changing Jair's name to Barbecue Chicken.
And on a real note, from what I understand from Packers fans, AJ Dillon might not even make the roster.
Why would he? This
went from this weird suspect Quadzilla handle that he acquired from Packers fans to this dude's a complete bum who might not even make the roster. It's unreal how much changed in a year.
How did he go from this big old tank to this gentle giant that quick?
I don't know.
While Bill has been on here hyperventilating in the comments about Darnold, here's the thing you got to understand, Billy. Darnold doesn't need to be great. He doesn't need to be elite. All he needs to be is just good and not turn the fucking ball over. And the Vikings have a chance to be at least a 500 team. Will they?
I'll give you that.
Everybody says we're like a between a 4 and a 6 win team.
All right, let me say this before people that Bill and especially Packer fans that think just the quarterback, although it's the most important position. I'll ask you this, Greg. Do you consider Kenny Pickett a good quarterback?
I mean, to be honest with you, the sample size has been relatively small. I think he's played subpar. I think it's one of the reasons why the Steelers moved off of him. Okay, he looked decent in preseason with the Eagles, but I mean, it's solidified who their starter is. There's no quarterback controversy there. So,
how about DeVito from the Giants? No, I'm not done.
Are we just bringing up? No, are we just bringing up people who beat the Packers?
No, I got a point with this before you end. No, I got a point with this before we end. DeVito, Pickett, Carr,
DeVito,
these guys, they're all. If you ask me, I would have Sam Darnold over all those guys. So if the Packers could lose to guys that trash, what makes you think you can't lose to Sam Darnold, motherfucker?
Well, you know what? On Rob's note, like Rob was just saying, look, obviously, I think everyone's aware that Sam Darnold, his chances of becoming a superstar are pretty much slim to none. But if he can play decent, serviceable football, minimize the turnovers, there's some talent out there. You know, look, I haven't had an update on Addison. Is he looking to be suspended for a game or two, or does anyone know any update?
They say 3 to 4 games.
We were just talking about that. His court date's not till the end of October, so if he is suspended, by the time they're done dragging it out, it's probably a next year thing. Also, he blew right at the legal limit of a .08. Most comps won't even write that ticket.
Yeah,
a good any kind of decent lawyer is going to get that reduced to like a public intox and probably improper parking on an interstate or whatever that you would call it.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
Okay. So
illegal parking. I mean, in all reality, guys, I mean, part of your X factor is, and it's something I haven't heard a bunch of Vikings fans talk about, is if Alex Jones can continue his production that he was making as a Packer. If Alex Jones can even be 75% of what he was as a Packer, I think the Vikings offense will be just fine.
Jones.
Aaron Jones, excuse me. Addison and Justin Jefferson, that's one of the best 1-2 combos, wide receiver combos in the NFL. So you know what I mean? Back to what Rob was saying, if Darnold could just play decent, cut down on his turnovers, not see ghosts out there, I think you guys can play 500 ball. Yeah, we're aware, John.
I've seen the video plenty times. If Sam Darnold can be for the Vikings what Baker Mayfield was for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, I'm a happy camper.
My only retort to that would be Sam Darnold has never played at the level that Baker Mayfield has played with the Bucs or the Browns. You know, like I said, he's had those 3-4 game stretches, but it's just by mid-season teams are done with him. You know, he looked really good starting out with Carolina a couple of years ago. By mid-season, the coach was fired. He was benched. So we'll see what happens.
Baker went 1 for 3 with Carolina, and Sam Darnold went 4-1. So they were both on the same team. So
this is the last shot, bro. This is the last shot.
Darnold has never had an offense like this to work with. Not even
I'll give that
back up with San Francisco last year.
I get you.
We'll see once what happens.
John Doran,
question, John.
John Doran, you're a pack turd.
So we already discussed the cornerback situation. You know, none of us planned on having a very promising pick die, first off. And then we didn't plan on having a guy tear his knee up either, second off. And we got some promising young guys. Dwight McGlothern, you've probably never heard of him, and you wouldn't because you are a Packers fan and you don't watch any games that the Vikings are doing right now. But looking like a promising young guy for an undrafted free agent. And Stephon Gilmore was in for a signing. There is a chance that we can piecemeal something together this year yet. But yes, We were just saying earlier in the broadcast that the two biggest things that really need to get addressed, and that's why I don't think this team is super serious about making a run until next year when we get the quarterback, future back, have $158 million, and we can buy and draft really good defensive tackles, interior guys, big nasties, and then address the corner situation appropriately. Preferably drafting some young guys, but then hopefully getting some guys that are good coming off of their first, contract and whatever, that we take that both avenues of approach between the draft and free agency on both those positions. It's a next year proposition. We just got to get through this year, not having any devastating injuries to anybody, and look towards 2025.
Agreed.
Really?
That was well put,
Anybody
Rob.
think I'm full of shit or disagree with that?
No.
There's three corners that can go in the top 10. There's three corners that are going to go in the top 10 this next draft. It's Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, Will Johnson from Michigan, and Travis Hunter from Colorado. All those guys are number one cornerbacks. That's where I've kind of shifted from a defensive tackle to getting a number one corner, depending on where the Vikings pick. That's where I would look, because corners are what make it happen. So,
agreed.
And I think what you saw was the Vikings understand their corner, specifically corner.
Yeah.
I think we have a good safety room. Okay.
Yeah.
Period. Specifically at corner, having a hellacious pass rush can mask some of that.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see the Vikings, how they stacked up with all them dudes that can go fuck somebody's day up.
Yeah.
You got Van Ginkel, you got Grenard, you've got Dallas Turner that you drafted, you have Blake Cashman. Then you got everybody that you can hit with the blitz that's really, really good at doing it, like Harrison Smith and Josh Metellus and Ivan Pace Jr. And we'll see once what happens with undrafted free agent Gabe Murphy. I mean, Greg can probably speak better on that than I can. In all honesty, all those names you just named, you guys have a really good front seven, in my opinion. That's a nice rotation. Maybe the defensive interior is a question mark. But other than that, your front seven looks really good, man. I think corners and maybe interior are your biggest question marks, at least right now. So,
I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right, Jeremy. And then when you do hit on a good corner, it takes them about 2 years to actually get good. Not Sauce Gardner is definitely the exception to the rule, not the fucking norm. It takes a while to develop a good corner in the NFL. Even with the
couple of years ago, I said the Vikings should have traded up for Sauce. I thought that immediately, because even in that bowl game for Cincinnati against Alabama, I mean, Alabama ran all over them, but you didn't see Devontae Smith catching the ball. You didn't see Waddle catching the ball.
Yeah,
he was shutting people down. So
the only
and Ivan Pace is on that team too. So
Cincinnati Bearcats, yes sir.
I mean, the only time in recent history I can even think of a corner just coming out and being dominant as a rookie after Sauce Gardner was back to Darrelle Revis.
That's true. Well, I mean, to counter that a little bit, you guys, so the trend the last 10 years, in my opinion, is these corners are catching on more and more faster to the pro game. I mean, it still is. More than likely, it's going to take developmental time, but just over recent years, Marshawn Lattimore, Denzel Ward, Patrick Surtain, these guys all came in and were already top 20, arguably top 10 at their position by year's end. So it is trending more to where these guys are developing fast, especially as the college game gets more pro schematically at the collegiate level. So, I mean, it really depends on just highly touted of a prospect they are, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Hunter kid from Colorado, though, that guy is just an athlete. Like, if you watched him play the first 4 or 5 games for Colorado last year, that guy was playing offense and defense. So, Witherspoon is damn good, too. He's a little small, but he's got some pop, too. Witherspoon reminds me a lot of Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
Senior.
Yeah.
So
and Christian Gonzalez, who I've watched this preseason, was doing great last year until he got injured. So, like I said, I think the corners are – the development time on average isn't what it used to be just because of the way college schematics are now, the play calling and stuff. But yeah, it is depend. And the names you just named, those names can fall rapidly. We see it in college all the time. You know 100%. What I mean? Essentially at any position, Spence Rattler, a name, that fell way off the board after essentially being a first round prospect. Sounds like he's doing good with the Saints, but I'm just making an example.
Yep.
Most likely, Spencer Rattler, most likely to look like Patrick Mahomes' stunt double. Yes, Spencer Rattler. Yes.
Right. Let's see.
I'm surprised the Bears have not signed Tannehill. I'm going to be totally honest with you. If they think if Caleb Williams are to go down, you think Tyson Bagent is going to be the answer? That's
I'm
putting a
somewhat surprised
lot
we
of
didn't
pressure.
make any kind of move for him, but not
Yeah.
really. I mean,
the thing is with Tannehill, you guys, is you guys remember that report came out when after they drafted Malik Willis, and Tannehill just came out in his presser and said, I'm not helping any rookie. I mean, essentially, he's not really a team player. He's wanting to go to a place to start. He doesn't want to be a backup guy. That and just a shitty attitude, I think, is why he's still on the market right now. He doesn't look at himself as a backup. You know, the NFL does have a way of humbling you. So, I think he's just biding his time, waiting for a starter to go down so he can go into a system and show that he's still an NFL caliber starter. So,
to take a page out of another sport, Tannehill needs to embrace his Russell Westbrook or Carmelo Anthony. He needs to understand that his days of being a high-end option are over. He was a wide receiver in college, so I mean, to be able to understand that, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna say something completely random. We didn't have any players' girlfriends show up wearing a Packers jersey at our game, did we? Because I know one team that that's Simone Biles.
Miss Biles did the Bears dirty today. Ooh-wee. Wow. Like that is she's catching a lot of flack for that. I agree with you there, Rob. I'm not sure she quite understands the dynamic of the rivalry, but that was that was real bad.
She can't see over the seat. That's the problem. She's 4'6".
Right?
She thinks he's still playing for the Packers.
I mean, Suni Lee looks like Manute Bol compared to Simone Biles, and Suni Lee's 5 feet tall. So figure it out on that one.
Have you ever met her at the stadium?
Who, Suni?
Yeah.
She grew up in my neighborhood in the Lower East Side of St. Paul. So before she moved to South St. Paul.
I've met her. Yeah, I mean, she's like here.
She's tiny. She's tiny. And Simone Biles is tinier than that.
Oh yeah, even smaller. I mean, it's you have no idea how short these girls are, but boy, they're little midget powerhouses.
Tiny.
Just they brought the medals home again, though.
Well, maybe Biles can be a third down back to the Packers and just hide her behind the guards.
Well, yeah, there ain't no one of them's going to see her coming because she'll be through their legs.
She'll be doing a cartwheel. She'll be doing a triple handspring over one of the linebackers. So.
That's a good question, Jeremy. The Caleb Williams overhype. Look, I think Shane Waldron's just keeping it incredibly vanilla right now. He's flashed a few highlights of just what he can do. Like I said, it's all about the Bears just developing him and taking time. I know the Bears have a lot of hype this season. That defense looks good. It really does, you guys. Just in my opinion, at least, I'm definitely willing to give them that. Skill positions look great there too. It's just about setting realistic expectations. CJ Stroud, RG3, Andrew Luck, incredible rookie seasons, taking their teams to the playoffs. But this is the anomaly. It's not the example. So, I think
it's a tough division too.
Yeah,
it's a tough division with Detroit and Green Bay. I mean, every team. There's not. I mean, as much as people want to think that the Vikings are going to finish in last place, even if they finish in last place in the division, I mean, it's the toughest division in football right now, top to bottom. It's the most competitive division.
It is, and to be honest with you, I spoke in a chat with someone else. The Vikings were in another division, like possibly the NFC South. I would say, hell, this team could compete. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying they can't. I mean, when division rival games happen, you guys know as well as I do. We've been doing this for years. Like the records, the who's on the field, who's got the better roster. That doesn't always amount to anything. It's the rivalry can sometimes supersede the talent available on the field. So,
and injuries are always going to have a vote in outcomes from week to week too.
Well put.
I agree, Jeremy.
Yeah. That defense, if that Booker kid works out, man, that Bears defense, the entirety of it looks really damn good. And I can tell you as a Lions fan, man, Jared Goff's 2 worst games last year were against the Bears. He ended up playing much better in the second half last year. We snuck out with a win. And then in the what was it? The second time we played them, another bad outing, man. That secondary is very good. They are really deep at cornerback position, which I look at it is something of an anomaly in this division. I think we got some decent corners in this division. Jair Alexander, he's good, but I think the Bears are really blessed that they have a very deep cornerback room, which, like I said, they have something that no one else in the NFC North does. So that could help them.
Yeah.
What's he saying? Booker didn't look as good today. 2 assisted tackles. That's it. Again, I think the scheming on both sides of the ball for everybody's pretty vanilla right now.
I don't look into the preseason that much. I mean, again, most of these guys don't play their big players. I agree with Tyreek Stevenson's a little overrated. I think he's the product of playing with Jalen Johnson and getting the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver. But I think for the Bears with their cornerback room, I mean, the way that the rest of the team division is loaded up, I think the Packers, I know they had talked about how they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Well, then who are you going to guard when Love picks you apart with whoever? Like, I think Love looked really good the second half of the season last year. And I don't think they necessarily need to have a number 1 guy. And I mean, I'm far from a Packers fan, but yeah. All Bears.
Yeah, the other counterpoint to that too is people have had an entire year how to figure out. Okay, so this team is a team where there's no featured number 1, and it's going to be whoever's open. I'm pretty sure if you see a sophomore slump from Jordan Love, it's because teams have figured out how they're going to defend against a scheme where you don't have a number 1 wide receiver, but you have 4 or 5 number 2s, and that's how you're going to play. Okay, we'll have something for you. You know,
we'll just call Kyle Shanahan up. He seems to always be able to beat the Packers when it matters. So give Kyle Shanahan the call. By the way, hey Bill, how did your game go against the 49ers for the 4th year in a row? Or how many times you guys have lost to the 49ers in the playoffs? I'm pretty sure we beat the 49ers last year. So
you did.
Yeah, how did that playoff run go?
Hey, that Kirk Cousins curse is real, you guys. Once again, if a team loses to Kirk Cousins in the season, they will not win a Super Bowl. Best of luck in the NFC South.
Yeah.
I got a phone call, gentlemen. I got to go. It was great talking with you guys.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you guys more in the season, all right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We kind of reached our limit
a while ago.
You guys all, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. We'll catch you here next Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Skol.
Go.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skol Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails. NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment.